Oh, are you feeling better?
Oh,
Don't blame it on me.
I just want to sleep all the time now.
Well, I just want to make sure you're not going to blame it on me for giving it to you.
Pneumonia.
I'm not going to blame it on what?
Me, remember I was sick, and it lasted for 3 months?
No, I got pneumonia on a cruise. So.
Oh, phew. That'll teach you not to go on a cruise.
I won't blame you unless you're on the same cruise.
What cruise was it?
This is case number 349743. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Fran Feinbar, number 25, present on behalf of the plaintiff, Chris Horodesky, and his brother and sister-in-law, who have been appointed the guardians, are also present. I don't know if you want them to stay there or be up here.
They can remain there for the time being.
Great, thank you.
Ellen Bezian, bar number 6225, here with Amber Johnson, the mom.
All right. Okay, this is on a status check to see how things are progressing since on the 23rd of February, I appointed Allison Hayden the guardian.
Allison and Greg.
And Greg temporary guardians, and entered new visitation orders through Open Arms. Matter of housekeeping first, just for the record, the court did receive a letter dated March 11th from Allison Horodesky. The court has not read that. My law clerk read it. Both counsel have been provided copies. That is my understanding. You do not wish me to read that. Is that
That's correct, Judge. That's an ex-party communication.
Well,
yeah, that's why I didn't read it.
Thank you.
she sent it to me and wanted me to give it to you, and I said, I can't, but you've been appointed the guardian, so you should send it. Here's the law clerk's email address. So she sent it, and because I didn't think it was appropriate for it to come from me. So I apologize if I gave her the wrong information, but she can give you asked her for a report before the hearing, and she had indicated in an email to me that she was nervous that she'd forget something, and I told her to write it down, so she did.
All right. Okay, the other housekeeping matters are the court has received complete reports for the months of January, February, and through March the 11th of visitation at Open Arms. Both counsel have been provided copies of those reports. You had an opportunity to read them?
Yes, that's what took us so long.
Yeah, I did review them.
Okay. And the two of you have had an opportunity to speak as well. Is that
We sure have.
Is anything resolved?
Well, first, I would like you to hear from, if that's okay, I would like you to hear from Allison Horodesky so she can give you a status of what's going on, so you can hear about the difference of what's going on. You've read the reports, and I think that we have agreed that our ultimate goal is to go back to go to a joint physical custodial relationship. That's our goal, right?
I agree. That is our goal. I disagree.
That makes three of us.
Okay, good.
But
Good.
the only problem we have right now is we have to make sure that nobody's coaching the child. And we have to make sure that he's protected. And we have to make sure, and so I said that I have no problem with that once we get an evaluation back that shows that there is no Munchausen and shows that there is no problem. Because this happened once before, the exact same thing when he got a girlfriend, and, is this going to happen every time he gets someone in his life that mom is going to make this accusation? So that's what our fear is. We don't know why it happened. Ms. Bezian is better able to express that, but she expressed to me exactly how she felt, which was pretty similar to how I felt. Anyway, if you could hear from Allison just to hear how things are going, that would be great.
I'm going to object unless I can ask Ms. Horodesky some questions. I don't want her just coming in with her self-serving.
What I'd like to do is, and Allison, I know you never contemplated this happening when you were appointed by the court, but I'd like you to come forward, be sworn.
Thank you.
You can verbally state what you think is important. You can refer to your notes if you wish. Both counsel will have a chance to ask you questions. If you step forward, please.
And if you dare throw me into you, I will.
Yeah, I think it would probably be best.
Come on up here. You could raise your right hand, remain standing, face the front. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this answer can be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Please state your name for the record. Allison Horodesky. Thank you. You may be seated.
Hey, Allison, if you just do me a favor, because I'm trying my hearing aids, and I am hard of hearing anyway. So if you please speak up to make sure that I can hear you as well as the parties and counsel. You were appointed February 23rd by me as the temporary guardian and primary physical custodian aide, correct? All right. Can you tell me, kind of in a nutshell, however is most comfortable for you, how things have gone since the 23rd? I read in one of the reports that the exchange appears to have gone well.
So things are going fine. He's a very, as I've stated, a very active kid. He's a kid in need of boundaries and guidance. And he's come into our house with my daughter and my son, and he's made himself at home. He's very comfortable. I do feel that at times he's confused at what's going on, and my goal and my husband's goal is we're trying to just create a neutral bounds. And we say to each other, we just feel like we appreciate the fact he just needs a break. He needs people out of his head. He needs a neutral ground. He needs structure, a lot of structure. And you know, I've met with the principal, the counselor, the teacher. You know, the teacher and I are in great communication, and she's seen progress. And you know, I feel he's blooming. He's really doing well outside, taken outside of this.
Tell me about that a little bit, if you would, the school, because one of the reasons that this child had been homeschooled was alleged misbehavior.
Mm-hmm. And I do have notes from his teacher at Vanderburg, which was his previous school, and really they coincide with the teacher's notes now. He was at Vanderburg for 6 weeks, and then he was homeschooled, and he's now been in school again for 2 weeks. So all in all, in first grade, he's only been in the public school setting for 8 weeks.
Is he back in Vanderburg? I'm sorry, I lost where he
No,
is.
he's in school in our area, in Summerlin.
What school?
Gibbons Elementary.
Thank you.
Gibbons Elementary.
G-I-V or G-I-B?
G-I-B-E-N-S.
Thank you.
And his teacher now is saying that he has behaviors of a child in first grade, such as calling, or beginning of first grade, such as calling out, inappropriately speaking, just behaviors that need to be addressed. But she's working with them, and she's seeing progress, you know. And academically, from the little assessments they've done the Ames literature assessment, and it showed that he was ranked fair to average. So he's missing a gap there. But as his teacher at Vanderburg reported, and his current teacher, and I agree as a first grade teacher, that he's academic. He will get it as long as he gets his behaviors in order. He needs a lot of one-on-one assistance, that kind of stuff. So, but it's all positive. We're working.
Okay. And it's only been 2 weeks, but is his behavior quantitatively or qualitatively different than other first graders?
I would say at times he's a little more inappropriate in the way he handles himself. He's spontaneous. You know, he had a cuss word at the playground. He drew an inappropriate picture that maybe Hayden didn't know was inappropriate, but at the time the teacher talked with him that it was inappropriate.
What was it?
He drew a picture of his butt on fire and presented it to the class. And being honest, yeah, the teacher was very upset by that.
I'm not going to lie.
No, I appreciated it. That wasn't offensive. The truth is always appreciated in this room.
So those are just, and so I asked Hayden, I said, after the teacher had told me he did this, we're walking home, and I said, can you tell me if the teacher were to ask you to draw something funny, what would something funny be appropriate? And he said, the Tom and Jerry cartoon. And I said, that would be really appropriate. I said, I'm saddened to hear that this picture was drawn. I said, you know, that's not appropriate for school terms, and other kids don't want to see your drawing or hear that. And he blamed it on another student. And when I know that he actually did that, and so one of the things we're dealing with, Hayden, is truth is not the first thing that always comes out of his mouth. He'll blame, he'll make an excuse, and so that's what we're kind of like. Stop before you tell me. Think, is it the truth? And then he admits to doing it. But that's kind of just a scenario that we have going on at our house, you know.
I gather, I got the impression from reading the Open Arms reports that you've maintained contact with both parents?
No, I do not.
No?
Something my husband and I thought was appropriate was that he would complete his homework with his parents, giving them the parental role of completing homework with a child at Open Arms. And so that's something we just kind of set up with Open Arms. So I've written notes, so Amber knows and Christopher knows what expectations are each night for homework. But I don't think I need to do that any farther. They both successfully completed their homework tasks with Hayden, and it was fine.
Emotionally, how is Hayden doing?
He's fine. He's happy. He's he's just full of energy and life, and he shows compassion and love. And he's not necessarily echoing "I love you," which I feel is kind of different for a 6-year-old. He says it to certain people, but he's calling his dad Dad. He's not calling him Chris. I see these 2 weeks. I just see a difference. And when he did see Mom the first time, it was hard that night, and I comforted him, and I let him know when he was going to see Mom again. And I cried with Hayden. It breaks my heart. Child needs his mother, and he did cry once for his uncle. That's the only other person he's asked for, and I let him call his uncle, and his uncle came on Friday, and we walked him to school together, and we had a great time.
Uncle, is that Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Her brother.
the defendant's brother?
Yeah, it was great. He came over at 7:30. He played with Hayden for an hour. Hayden baseball, upstairs, downstairs, showing me in his bed. It was great with Ryan, and we walked him to school, and it was just like a normal. It's just all I want for Hayden is this kid has a huge family that loves him, and it was great. And so emotionally, he's fine. He makes comments. He says things that I think are maybe a little bit more mature, stuff that he maybe shouldn't know about the judicial system. And he told me all about coaching without me asking. I said, I'm not quite sure what you're even talking about. And he referred to a basketball coach, and he's not being coached. He's coaching his mom, and he says things. He refers to some CSI show, which I don't watch TV, so I'm not sure that that's even appropriate for. He's not an adult. He's a 6-year-old kid. He needs to have this 6-year-old life, and he's carrying this burden of this adult life. When can I see my mom again? Can you ask the courts? I just don't feel that that's an appropriate comment. He knows too much. Is really honestly how I'm feeling.
Who was it that took him to play golf? Is that
My husband. Well, we've all gone,
okay?
and
I wasn't sure if that was Ryan or.
no, that's yeah.
Ms. Fine, do you have questions you want to ask?
Yes, I'm looking for her letter, so I can look at it. You also took him to the pediatrician. What did you find at the pediatrician? Or because this is not really evidentiary, but I hope that it's okay. It's going to be hearsay, but I just need to know what you learned. And when did you take him?
I took him the Friday after we got Hayden because I was trying to register him for school, and I needed his his shot records.
So on the 24th, you took him to the pediatrician?
Yes. And they said, well, Hayden hasn't been in for his 6-year checkup. So he had been in for his 5-year checkup. He hadn't been in for his 6-year checkup. He turned 7 in April. So he hadn't been there, which I was surprised throughout this whole thing. So I said, well, I can bring him down. I had, my court papers. I took him in, and I said Mom hadn't brought him in since 2009, according to their records, and that he had been in there with a grandparent and his father. And the doctor that was seeing Hayden noted, oh, I've seen him before. And she asked me, why do you have guardianship? Or I just said he, came to us yesterday. I'm trying to get him registered for school. I had the school paperwork, And I just said that, it's a family court issue. And so.
How is he?
When was the visit? March 24th? I'm sorry, February?
24th.
Thank you.
The day after he came to us.
Was he in good health?
He was in good health. I knew he had allergies, and so since none of that medication was given to me or anything, and they said, yes, he does indeed have allergies. He is to be taking a pill a day for his allergies. It isn't going to be a bad allergy season, they said, so they sent me home with prescriptions for his pills, a nebulizer, and for breathing treatments. So I'm stocked and ready. I spoke with Earl, and they did not give him an allergy pill a day. And I know I'm not an over-medicator myself with my children, so I have it on hand, and I have not given him. He hasn't shown symptoms, and he has seasonal allergies. He's had it. I think the doctor said he was diagnosed at 3. So, but he's fine. He's in great health.
I couldn't tell. Is he allergic to dogs?
No. Well, I think he maybe is allergic to dogs. So that morning, we have a dog, and she's shaved, and that hasn't been an issue.
What dog?
So we went and got her shaved that Friday also. And
Shave the dog.
yeah, we just shave her hair. We keep it short.
She said he's 6. She said it
But
twice.
that it hasn't been an issue.
So, when Amber delivered Hayden to you, it was at Open Arms, is that correct? And did she bring any instructions or any medication or any foods that he liked or anything? Or any clothing, toys?
He just had the clothes on his back. He was just handed over to us. So we went that night and got clothes, toothbrush, pajamas, underwear, socks, that kind of stuff. Just essentials. We've since built on that. You know, he's great. And I've called and I've asked. I've talked with Earl, her father, and we have great conversations. And
What are they about? Tell us about the conversations with Earl.
well, I think we talk as adults. You know, I feel like we're kind of talking about things outside of courts as maybe we should be doing. You know, I think our best
It
interest.
makes my life a little bit easier.
I agree with you. And
Me too.
we talk as adults. We talk about Hayden. It's nothing, I don't think anything, but I did tell him, I said, all his necessities are met. The kid loves toys, he loves this, he loves that, you know what would make his day-to-day life a little more enjoyable. So that's all I'm asking. If you could ask his mom to send some things. And I said, if a Lego piece is missing or broken, I'll be sure to replace it. I haven't been with Hayden for over 11 months. I don't know what's going, in his mind as far as what he likes. And so I just asked for that kind of stuff. And
So you indicated in your letter several things that you wanted from the you wanted to know from the court. The first one was
Can't talk to them. No.
we do ask the court the following questions. One, to designate our authority regarding Amber's parents.
No.
We did have an uncomfortable conversation where Amber's mother requested that we allow Hayden to attend church with them on March 11, 2012. Because it conflicted with the Open Arms visit and because there was no court order to address this, I was reluctant to allow the visit. Did he go to church one time, though? You drove him to their church,
I took him one time to church.
to their church.
Because he did not have Open Arms that Saturday. So I took him, he was in a choir practice, so he got to go see his grandma, his Nana. And I took him, he did his choir practice, he did Sunday school, and then Sally and I sat through church together, and it was fine.
Sally is
Is
Amber's mother. Thank you.
And that was fine, and, she has asked, could he be in his karate class, or she understands, I can't do it all now with 3 kids, and I said, church, I'll choose church, and I think we agreed on that. Well, and he's in this choir so that he can be in a parade on Saturday for St. Patrick's Day. And I respect that, but my feeling, so she called again and she asked if he could come yesterday to church. She called Saturday. And I just said, Sally, I can't do it. Greg had to go into work. I can't get down to church for him to do his choir practice. I have Open Arms. That's going from Summerlin to Green Valley up to Open Arms on North Rancho. And then we do family dinners in Green Valley. I couldn't do it. And I know she didn't like it, but that's why I just said, and that's why I was kind of moved to do this letter to you, is because I'd like some guidelines set. I don't know what's appropriate. I'm fine with neutral meeting grounds. I don't know what you would deem appropriate. I just don't want to have conversations like that because it works me up, and I don't like the confrontation.
Can I ask a question? Do you
When's
have
it my turn?
Well, he called on me.
Okay.
She's done.
Thank you.
Called on me. He said,
Okay.
it's fine. You got it. I promise. I'm going to get all the questions you want, and they'll probably be thrilled. Do you have a problem with Amber's parents taking Hayden to church? I mean, coming to pick him up, take him to church, and bring him back?
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I had a problem with, at the end of church when I was with Sally, she bent down, and mind you, I've worked on a neutral ground with Hayden. Like, when I talk about mom, I talk about dad. I don't refer to her as Amber. It's mom and dad. And she bent down, and she kind of put his arm around her, and I was behind, and I could hear something along the lines of, mom hadn't seen him yet. Mom's excited to see you at Open Arms, something along those lines. And are you looking forward to your time with mom? And then she bent down and she touched his heart and said, you're a Nana in mom's heart. And it just kind of I felt a little hurt inside because had it been me, I would say, mom and dad love you. I hope you have a good visit with dad tomorrow also. And I tried to explain this to her on the phone, and I know she took it like I was telling her what to do, and I wasn't. I was just merely saying, this is the road I'm taking. Can we work together to make it a neutral ground? And get out of his head. Let's not make this so one-sided. He has a huge family. The kid's lucky. And so that was my problem, is I was like, if I send him with them, I don't want them to be so one-sided. I want them to work with me and work with Hayden. And I think that's fair.
Okay, the second question I have is the second question you asked. Trying to remember in the order, even though the letter's pretty clear. Are you asking that Open Arms continue with both parents?
I'm asking that Open Arms with his father be at my home. And I'm asking that because
Well, I've got a problem, and I'm going to object. She just stated she wants it to be neutral. She gets mad at Grandma when she says, "You're in our heart."
You can save it for argument is what I'm going to do, but she can state what her preference is.
Well, I'm hoping we can get rid of
Thank
Open
you.
Arms altogether is what I'm hoping.
that's my hope too. Open Arms, it's a sterile environment.
She wants everything at her house. I'm sorry.
Please.
Sorry.
Open Arms it's a sterile environment. Hayden's not seeing his family interacting. You know, he's not seeing me say hi to Mom. You know, it's not natural. You have families that are very willing and able, I think, to support this child outside of a court-ordered Open Arms. So what I'm asking is, I'm asking that supervised visits with Christopher be at our home. Christopher could come over. He could have dinner. He could interact with my children who haven't seen their uncle in 2.5 weeks. He could have dinner, he could visit, and he could leave. And I would work with the courts with what you deem appropriate as far as documenting. My goal would be to have these same visits with Mom. But right now, probably Mom and I couldn't do that. Okay? I don't feel comfortable, and I'm sure she wouldn't either. The thing is I'm shuttling to Open Arms, and it's not poor me, but I'm shuttling to Open Arms 4 times a week. I have missed dinner with my family 4 nights out of the week due to Open Arms counseling. It's important to my husband and I. We do have family dinners, and it's something that's important to us. And so that's why I'm asking that I would be more than happy to take him to see his mom at Open Arms, but I'm just asking because of the interaction that we have with Dad, it's a little more comfortable, and it's natural. Dad's coming over for dinner. Cool. You know? So that's all
Okay,
I'm
and you
asking.
live in Summerlin, right?
I live in Summerlin.
Dad and Mom live in Green Valley. Okay, are we, the next question you asked him is, are you planning on going on a family vacation, or are you planning on
We
going?
had a trip planned to California the weekend that we got Hayden. We canceled that. We were just wondering, are we allowed to take him out of state, out of town, pending?
If you go to California for a weekend, okay, so that's your question.
I just didn't want to do anything.
Have you received any funds from anyone with respect to taking care of Hayden since he's been with you?
Nothing more than gifts from the grandparents.
You're not saying that you don't want Amber to have unsupervised visitation, do you? Or so you're basically just saying all you want is if what I heard was correct, that you just want everyone to stop talking about me and talk about us. Talk about the whole picture, that Hayden's a loved kid, and Mommy loves him, Daddy loves him, Mom loves him, Dad loves him. He's in everybody's hearts, not just Moms and Grandmas. Is there anything else that you want to tell the court?
No. Pending child support, is that?
Are you asking us for as long as you have him that
I feel as responsible parents, they should both have to pay child support of some type, not just Dad that's being held in a trust right now. But I feel that Mom it's her son. She should have some financial obligations.
I object to a witness talking about child support. She doesn't know the law. She has no personal knowledge of anything. I really object to that.
Well, I think she's stating that since she's the primary physical custodian, she should be receiving child support.
Why don't you,
She's a temporary guardian.
I don't understand the basis for your objection,
Judge,
quite
or sir,
frankly.
Yes.
no.
No
Put
what?
your hand down.
Okay. No what? Okay.
Did you have any other questions?
oh, can you just tell us about church this past weekend that you went? What happened?
So my daughter was singing in our church, and Hayden had a great visit with his dad that Saturday. And driving home, I said, oh, we're going to go home and get the family, we're going to church to watch Riley sing. And I said, he's like, oh, so fun. And I'm like, because Dad goes when my daughter performs, I said, if you want to invite your dad, if you feel comfortable, you can. He's like, yeah, call him. So I call him, and he invites him. And we got to church early because I had to drop my daughter off with her class. First thing we pull in the parking lot, where's Dad? I said, he'll be here, we're just a little early. And so we sit down in the pews, and I did not know Chris was there, but all of a sudden I hear, there he is! And he ran down the aisle and into his dad's arms. And they sat through church together. And it was just it was wonderful. I mean, it was just natural, how it would be if he saw Mom, So I thought it was great. And it was a natural for Chris to be there, seeing my daughter perform as he has in the past. So it wasn't, anything out of the ordinary, but just a very positive experience.
And you also took him to Nick Ponzo. Why did you take him to Nick Ponzo?
Well, I took him to Nick Ponzo because he had been with him prior as the reunification therapist. And he was aware of Hayden, and it's going great. The first day I sat in with Hayden and Nick, and then this last time Hayden went by himself with no problems. I don't know what was discussed or anything like that, but it was just, they were fun. He ran out to me, Auntie, I was respectful. I said, good, because that's one of the, things we're working on is respecting adults and that kind of stuff, and it was natural and normal.
I think it's very funny they call you Auntie. Not Aunt Allison, it's Auntie.
Sometimes it's Aunt Allison. It's just.
All right. Do you have questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I do, Judge. Thank you. I did hear from you that you either were hurt or you were offended that Grandma would stoop down and say, you're in our heart or you're in Mom's heart, because you think that that's playing one side against the other. It wasn't being even-handed. Was that correct?
I wasn't hurt. I just was realizing for Hayden's sake that we do our best to talk in this situation with what Hayden is going through. We do our best to keep it neutral. Yes.
Keep it neutral, and keeping it neutral was saying, would you like Dad to come to church? That was keeping it neutral?
Yeah, that's a normal. He's in my home.
Well, wait, neutral is neutral, isn't it?
But he's in our home, and that's what we would do.
I'm
Hayden is
asking a
member of my
question, though.
I'm not going to.
Okay, wait. No arguing. Let her ask a question. I'll get you later. Just
No, I did
calm
not
down.
call the Johnsons and invite them to church.
Don't you think that would have been neutral to do that?
I went to church with the Johnsons and didn't invite Chris. I'm trying to handle both sides.
Are you?
I am.
Okay.
Absolutely, I am.
I did notice in your letter that you said moving forward.
A letter that you're not allowed to read. I wish you'd be able to read it since every reference.
Well,
is
she's
back.
read it.
I haven't
Fine's read it.
I wanted to hear from what you had to tell me verbally.
But
You can refer to her letter?
only Fran read a good portion of it. So
I was asking her
Yes, she
questions
did.
about what she wanted you to know. She wanted to ask
So I
you.
thought fair's fair. Fran read from the letter.
I didn't read from the letter as much as I was asked.
Topics. I don't know that she quoted the letter.
Okay, I'm only quoting 3 or 4 words out of this, and that's that they're asking, these guardians are asking, that the child have visitation with father supervised at their home. And she's just stated to the court she doesn't feel real good about Mom being there. So Mom's supposed to be relegated
Being at her house.
at her house. So she says open arms is sterile. So Mom should go see the child that she's raised for 6 years in a sterile environment.
That's where Dad's been.
You'll have a chance to argue.
Right, but
Do you have questions of her?
yeah, why would you say at our home we're comfortable and we want?
We are, and because that's how. And I'm looking out for my family also, as I stated. It's a huge time commitment. It's the evenings away from my family, and I would love to. I'm telling you right now, I don't feel comfortable with them coming into my house. That's me, and I would love to build that relationship with them through this. But at this time, the mother has built a barrier around our family. So it's
I'm not asking you a question
Yeah,
here.
so I'm explaining to you, yes, I feel comfortable doing a supervised visit with Christopher at my home with his son and my children.
But
And I
not
would
the
hope one
boy's
day
mother. Not the
can
boy's
get open
mother.
arms where a supervised visit or a supervisor will make sure that she's not coaching, putting thoughts into this child's head.
I'm objecting to this, Judge.
Let mom go
You
through what
object.
dad's
You're
been
asking-
going through.
You're asking
She's
her
just
why
not, she's giving a narrative.
You asked her why she feels comfortable supervising with Chris, but not comfortable supervising with your client.
What I asked.
She's answering.
If she wants a level playing field, why she isn't feeling
Well,
that?
I'm the one that's going to make a level playing field. All right.
I hope so, thank
I
you.
mean, I'm not acquiescing in everything she's asking.
Thank you.
I'm making an independent judgment.
You've stated that you haven't had time to do certain things because you have a family and you have your own children. Is this a burden on your family, having this little boy
Absolutely
there?
not.
I heard you say 3 times I can't do it because I have other commitments to my family and my children. Karate, for example, there were other times that you alluded to that. What's the problem with maternal grandparents taking him to karate or
That's
to
the
whatever
court.
it is?
That's what I said. I told this Sally on Saturday. Let's let the court make that decision.
I didn't hear any of
in
that.
the
All I
letter.
heard was that she wanted
I asked the
child
court.
support.
To make the recommendations for that. What they feel, what they deem appropriate is what I deem appropriate. I'm the guardian. I'm not going to just send them out to the wolves if the court's going to say, "What are you doing?" I have told everybody.
Do
Back
you
off.
have an opinion as to whether or not it's okay for Hayden to go to karate with his grandparents?
If the court feels that.
No, I'm asking you, do you
That's
have?
fine.
You feel okay with it?
Yeah, that's fine. If they want to come pick him up, transport him, and bring him back. I have included Hayden in my children's activities.
Sure.
He's now in swim lessons.
No, but my question
Yeah,
was,
if they want to keep that up, but they are not going to argue me when I tell them he has open arms and not demand me to change open arms times, and they're not going to argue me when I say he has therapy. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to find it very tight schedule to get this kid to karate and gymnastics. I can't believe we're going through this in court. We can do this.
He's involved in karate and gymnastics?
Apparently with,
Yes, he is.
what is the schedule? Do you know when his karate class is or when his
I
gymnastics
do not
is?
know.
Okay.
But I do know the days that he has free time, and if that's something that he needs to be going to also on top of his 6-hour school day, his homework, you know.
Can you tell me, Ms. Horodesky, how do you feel about visitation being supervised at your house with Dad and visitation at Mom's house with her parents supervising?
How about at grandparents' house?
Yeah, at her grandparents' house, and eliminating open arms entirely. How do you feel about that?
I'm fine. I would say that I would like them to come to our house. I would like grandparents to come to our house
Why is that?
because I feel that that's just, he was taken from us, that they need to do it too. You mean I take them to their house and drop them off?
No.
What do you, I don't know.
No, they
I don't
come.
know.
When
They come
Dad
pick 'em
has
up.
visitation, it's supervised at your home.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Okay, it could be at your home, or it could be at his parents' home. I mean, it's a third party, and it's someone that's supervising the visitation. What is the objection to Mom having supervised visitation at her parents' home? And
As long as they can keep a neutral ground, but I don't know how I can monitor that they're keeping a neutral ground.
why, suddenly you've placed yourself as the arbiter of what's neutral and what isn't.
Because of what I feel is a lot of thoughts have been put into Hayden's head that I don't want it to be 5 steps back every time he comes back to us.
Well, I do think I'm hearing that the child is learning now some parameters in discipline and structure. I have perceived that from you, but I haven't perceived that there is an unbalance in the playing field if they go to Mom's, but everything's okay at your house. So I'm missing that point. Did Hayden's maternal grandparents, Amber's mother and father, were they part of Hayden's life for 6 years? His first 6 years?
Absolutely.
Okay. And do you think that Dad was kind of left out of the loop for those 6 years?
I would say that our family has definitely been.
Well, I'm not talking about your family. I'm really talking about Dad.
Yes.
Okay. Dad's kind of been left out of the loop. Hayden's father.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're trying to ask.
I'm asking if Hayden lived with Mom primarily for his first
Yes, yeah.
6 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he hasn't seen Dad as much as he has Mom and her parents. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so, do you think it's in Hayden's best interest for him to be with his parents equally? Go from this point forward, since it hasn't been in his past.
Yeah, I feel like right now we need to build a relate. Hayden was the last year not part of his father's life or his father's family's life. I feel that there needs to be a relationship rebound, hence the reunification therapy.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further, Judge. And I'm sorry.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
But you're awesome.
It's not easy for anybody. Okay. All right.
Do you want to hear from anyone?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to hear from anyone?
Just,
Stay to hear.
Allison, thank you very much. I do appreciate the predicament you're in, the conflicts that you're being exposed to, both in terms of your personal family life as well as being willing to assist the court in its endeavor to try to neutralize the past and move into the future as far as Hayden is concerned. I don't have any other questions. If the parties have no other questions,
No,
feel
thank
free
you
to
very
step
much.
down.
I do want to say thank you.
Me too.
Good job.
Earl, you wanted to say something?
I sure do.
All right. I'm going to ask that you be under oath.
Absolutely.
Come on up here, so you can remain
Hope you don't
standing.
mind me calling you Earl.
Absolutely not.
Raise your right hand, face the clerk.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Absolutely. 100%.
Please state your name for the record.
Earl Allen Johnson.
Thank you. You may be seated.
I've got a couple of questions.
Oh.
If you don't mind my asking, sir. Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
You know, we're talking about 2 weeks of her having to deal with transporting Hayden to and from. And I totally understand that she has, 2 kids. And trust me, I would not want to have to deal with the kids that she has because they are small children, and they do need a lot of attention because they are smaller. The age difference between them and Hayden. However, I was driving all the way from California twice a week, and I would have gladly have had one of my family members to do it for me, but I was told that I could not because they couldn't get along with anyone over there in the Johnson's world. We've never had problems with anyone, including the Horodeskys, including Chris. He knows this. So I didn't quite understand why there was so much difficulty with my family helping out so that he could be with his father. But that wasn't allowed. So now, after I've done it for 2 months, I'm being told that it's a real burden and that it shouldn't continue. Basically, that's what I heard. I think that's what I heard anyway. But what I would like to say to all of this, I said from day one that I felt that this child should be with family. I felt that he shouldn't have been going to Open Arms or anywhere else. He should have been put back with the family. But we've had to go through all this major expense of checking to see if my daughter's crazy, or which I don't know how she did 4 years at Pepperdine University. I don't know how she managed to raise this kid for 6 years. But for some reason, she's polluted this child's mind when in fact, and I have to say this here, before this incident took place, where this child accused his dad of doing something to him, this young man's picture was still sitting on the mantle as a family portrait that they had taken in the home. 2 Thanksgivings prior to that, that young lady over there was fixing his dinner at Thanksgiving, his second helping. They went to California together. But for anyone to sit there and say that she put this mess in this kid's mind, it's ludicrous. First of all, and I'm not trying to be nasty. Chris knows how I am, and I want you to learn a little bit about me if you would. Chris and I both know that he's had pictures of naked women on his phone. No disrespect. I never said it, I saw him with no guys or no guys and girls, but pictures. I've looked at them, he showed me. I didn't see a problem with that. Guys do that crap all the time. However, I also know this young man gives that phone to his son to watch movies, regular kid stuff. I've seen him do it when we're out.
Judge, if he's going to sit and he's going to give
No,
a narrative.
all I'm saying is-
Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but I get to talk for a minute.
Go ahead, please.
The court respects you. I respect you. The fact is this is not a place for you to come and just talk. It's a place where we're allowed to ask questions.
Okay,
And
ask
you,
me questions.
your daughter has an attorney who will get out what needs to get out. The fact is that if there's something that the court needs to know about what's going on now.
I'm getting ready to tell him.
Okay.
All I'm trying to say, Judge, is that do I believe that it's a possibility that this man did something to his child? I told you guys once before, if I thought he had, I wouldn't even talk to him. I wouldn't even go near him. Okay? That's my doubt, okay, in my heart, in my mind. I don't know. My grandson says this happened. But I would like to say what I was about to say. Is it possible that little technology mind that Hayden has, that he looked at this guy's phone and accidentally saw something inappropriate and came up with his mind creation of something happening to him? I don't know. I'm reaching because I'm hopeful that this guy didn't do anything. However, enough said on that subject. I would like to say this here. My wife went to church with my grandson.
Our
Super busy.
grandson. Our grandson. Our
My
child.
grandson is right. That's all it is right now. It's my grandson. I'm gonna be selfish. She took my grandson, not ours, not any of them, mine, to church with this young lady and my daughter and my wife went to church. His mother decided to join in and be a part of it.
Whose mother?
Chris's mom.
Amber.
Chris's mother.
Okay, yeah, all right.
She was there as well. It was supposed to be Allison and my wife and Hayden. Chris's mother decided to show up. That was all fine. He bolted, running to my wife. This is what I was told by her. With open arms, excited to see her. My wife came home. I said, "How did it go?" She says, "It was okay." She says, "You could tell he was really uncomfortable about the whole situation." She says, "However, it was nice to see him." This young lady was very kind enough to allow me and my son on the same day to meet at the park to see my grandson. So myself, my son, and my daughter firstborn,
Anne-Marie?
Anna Marie, went to the park. He saw his Uncle Orion. He screamed, "Uncle Orion!" He bolted. She says, "Shono," how did you say it, young lady, if you don't mind me asking, Allison, if you remember? Let's not be excited or something like that, because you were happy about it. You thought it was great that he...
I said, we were so excited to hear him screaming from the car.
Right, exactly. So that happened.
It was exciting.
Exactly. No, it was. That's what I'm saying. It was a positive moment. Then, the minute he came around the corner, he saw his cousin there. He put the brakes on. And I'm just telling you, he saw the tall kid first. But the minute he saw the little guy, he put his brakes on. But no! Never did touch Orion.
Is that Ryan's son?
Orion is my son. That's his uncle.
The little guy, the cousin.
His cousin, that's Anna's son.
Hannah's son.
Okay? My point is, we talk about how a kid's mind works. I'm taller than my son. He didn't say Papa. He said Uncle Orion, which is what he said out of the car. I heard him. When he came around the corner, he didn't jump in Orion's arms. He ran to his cousin. Changes. Things were happening. Why do they happen? We don't know. But things happen in kids' minds, and we really don't know why. I would love, and I think I appreciate big time what she did. It was great. But one of the questions she asked me, this is why I'm talking about this. She says, "Where's Sally?" I said, "She's at home cooking because we've got company coming on."
Sally's your wife.
Sally's my wife. Allison was asking me where was Sally. She said, "Well, I thought she would have come." I says, "Well, no, she's home cooking." Well, we went on off and we talked about everything else. So I work weekends, like I told you. Not always, because we've been blessed, and we probably won't have to work again for a while, hopefully. But I have been working weekends. My wife, I said to her, I said, "I have two numbers here." I said, "I don't know which one is the home." I said, "And I don't know which one is her cell." I says, we give Allison a call and remind her on a Saturday about Sunday, because she was under the impression that they were going to reunite on Sunday with this whole church thing. She calls Allison. She left 2 messages on 2 different phones, on 2 different phone numbers, I should say. Allison, she said, returned her call and basically told my wife, and this is hearsay, but she's here, that she did not feel comfortable with what happened on Sunday, which Allison did sit here today and say about the whole touching the heart. I'll tell you the part to that. I told Allison on that day, I says, my wife believes something happened to my grandson. I said, so if you think you're going to get her to say and something positive about Chris, I said, it's not going to happen. I said, so you shouldn't even ask her to do that. But I guess in their talk, she brought it up to my wife after I had told her this in the park. Okay? So it led back to basically, we're not going to do it. We'll just wait until we go to court on Monday. Well, we went to court, but you were sick. You were sick. So that basically didn't happen. My point is, and Chris knows this, we're talking about the child. Hayden is allergic to dogs, okay? That's the reason why we have Shih Tzus. And we have a little terrier. Because they are non-allergenic, I think that's how you say it. But he is very much allergic to their dog, okay? When he first went to her home, she did take her dog and she had the dog shaved. She had also said that if this continued, she would give the dogs to Daryl and Sandy, okay, so that it would not be in the home. She told me she had a professional cleaner to come in there and to sweep the house so that Hayden wouldn't continue to go through these problems. Now, Chris suffers from allergies, Hayden suffers from allergies, but Hayden had not been struggling with allergies prior to going to her home, okay? He's gone to Open Arms twice that I know of with clogged nose, okay? They're saying it's supposed to be a bad season. We don't really know what it's going to be, but that's another person saying that this is what it should be. However, I know he's allergic to the dogs. When he would go over to Chris's parents' home, in the past, he would come back, he would be reacting to the dogs. These are all true statements. That's not saying that anything's bad. That's just saying, hopefully, he'll grow out of it. I grew out of asthma. I had it for 12 years. And I outgrew it, is the saying that they use. My point is, do I want to see this child taken from his father? Absolutely not. Do I want to see him taken from his mother? Absolutely not. Do I want to see this young lady who's trying her darndest to do a great job with him? I don't want to see that burden continue to stay on her. I think if we're going to do anything, and I think I asked this before, we're spending all this money, but no one is really just putting Hayden to where he can just have a moment to breathe. He's been going through this crap for a year now, almost. October the 10th will be a year, so it's not a year yet. But he's been going through all of this here, whether it be through Nicholas Ponzo, whether it be through the people that Amber was showing, taking him to, whether it be Open Arms. He's not had a break. They talk about how well he's doing in school. We got a different version. Meaning, when I say different version, we've been told that because of how little time he was spending when he first started school at the beginning of the year, and by the way, he goes to, this is a state program. This is not homeschool. This is not her just opening up a book and telling him, see Dick run. He has to go online. He's communicating with other kids. He's being tested, and I think the last time he tested above average, but now I'm being told that he's average, fair, or near average. But my point is, could that be because he's in a stressful situation? He's tripping out because no one knew on that Thursday, not even myself, that you were going to take him from her. I still didn't know why, because I thought I was doing a great thing by taking my grandson to Open Arms to be with his father. And if Chris is honest, he'll tell you not every day we're good. But the day that he took, that Hayden went with Allison, I'm not going to lie to anybody, tripped me out. You guys were swinging the beanbag and fighting and kicking and playing, am I right? And I said to Chandra, I says, where did this come from? I cut the session short myself. I said, let him go with his auntie. I says, this is the time to do it. He's in good spirits. So, you know yourself. Some days that kid would go there, he didn't want to have nothing to do with Chris. But there were some days that he did. I've heard, I don't know for a fact, but I've been told that I wasn't doing the right thing. I wasn't trying to work with Chris and help him like you asked me to, where Hayden was concerned. As a law. There was times I got up and left the room so that him and his son and Chandra could be in there alone, and they called me back in because they said it wasn't going so well. There was other times that I left the room and they had no problems. Okay? I don't know what the kid's going through. I'm no God. I'm no doctor. You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to get into his little head. But I will say this. Chris would be a damn fool, forgive me for saying it like that. If he did do something, let's say he didn't do nothing. But if he were to do something again, that would be really stupid, you know. I would like to believe he didn't do anything. I would like to believe that if he's put back in his father's arms, back in his mother's arms, we won't be back here again. That's what I would like to see. But you're going to do what you got to do. And
Thank you.
excuse me, I apologize for putting my arm up and you asking me to take it down, but there was just some things that were being said that I just didn't feel was right on point. And I love this dude. If I got to spend whatever years I got left here on this earth addressing him one way or another, you know, I think I told you on the last day that we were together, you called me back in the room. You said something about the cost of this and that you would like to let me know that the child support thing may be stopping. What did I tell you? I said, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care if you don't pay a dime. This child will not go without by Daryl or myself or Sandy or Sally or Amber or Chris. He will always have. And, you know, I feel like we've taken a beautiful child and we've made him like this trash. You know? Allison, say what you really feel. You don't feel open arm is appropriate because it's just not right. I know, that's what I'm saying. Say what you really feel. I don't know if they really got the flavor of what you were trying to tell them. It's, you know, I had to put up with it for 2 months. Like, what the heck is this? This is a joke. You know, to me, it was a joke. One day he would be on point with his dad, one day he wouldn't be on point with his dad. But I will tell you this. She's being punished for bringing to the attention of the people of the court what her son said to her. And if the shoe was on the other foot and he had done it, we would be having the same situation here. And I know this. What the outcome would be, I really wouldn't know, as I don't know what this outcome is going to be. But I will tell you this much. I am burnt out. And I swear to God, today is my last day ever coming in here because it doesn't make sense. I'm not wanting to be with my grandson. I'm not wanting to see Chris. I love everybody in here, but I am not coming back to your courtroom ever, unless they bring him up behind here for a reason, and I don't foresee that ever happening. That's all I got to say. Anybody want to ask me something, ask me.
Nope. I think you needed to do that.
And I do love you. No disrespect to you.
I think we're done. People, this isn't a free-for-all. I think someone else is asking to speak. Someone from that side. Your Honor, Your Honor. But so this is my concern, Judge. I think that Earl had a need to express himself, and I'm glad he did, because maybe he'll be able to live with this. But from his own mouth, you heard him say that Sally will never be able to include Chris and never be able to say anything nice about it.
Put your hand down.
You heard that from Earl. That's our concern. Our concern is that we would love for the visits to be supervised by the grandparents, but the grandparents won't say or be all-inclusive. And we need that evaluation done. Now, if Dr. Polini can't get it done, is there someone else that you could recommend that you would want to get it done? But this is ridiculous. This time has gone so long, and not because of Chris, because as you know, Chris has done every single thing this court and the juvenile court has ordered him to do. And here we are, started in June, 10 months, 11 months later. I would love for something to, perhaps visitation, for each parent to be able to have him. But my client is as worried about him being coached, continued, or not being forgiven, as they are that something happened. So, Judge, this bailiwick is in your hands, and I know that Ms. Bazian wants to say something to the court, but as you know, that we have tried to get everything done. We've done everything we were supposed to do. Dr. Picoult, or John Picoult's report was useless. It said nothing. John Picoult, his report was useless because he didn't have anybody to talk to with respect to finding out what was going on. So my concern is that at this particular juncture, he needs stability, and right now he's got it here. If you wanted to give some visitation to that side, I don't think we'd object to it. But there has to be a caveat that there can be nothing but positive to say about Dad. You've heard that Dad was Chris. What child calls their father Chris? But now it's Dad and jumps in his arms. How could that happen in 2 weeks? And how could he be such a changed child going to Dr. Nick Ponzo when you read the previous reports that they would hide in the kitchen, that they would do all that sort of stuff, and then he would hide, he wouldn't talk to him, and Mom wouldn't leave the room, and Mom had to be a part of it, and Mom was there. And now that the child is going with Auntie, he's opening up, and he's talking, and he's proud of himself because he's respectful. I'm not saying that Earl's a bad guy. This is a love fest. Everybody loves Earl, and everybody likes Grandma because Hayden loves Grandma. But so there has to... No one was there, and even Miss Bazian says, it's in the rear view mirror, she told her client. So we need to get past that and let this little boy be a little boy, and let him be happy, and let him love to be with Riley and his dad, and go to church, and let him maybe every other weekend go to church with Grandma and Grandpa and Amber and Anna Marie and Ryan, or Anna Marie. I don't know what Anna Marie's like. Maybe she would be the person on that side. I don't know what her life is. I don't know that. I haven't even discussed it with Chris. But I agree that perhaps maybe there should be an alternative to Open Arms. But right now, I think that we need to finish out the school year where he is and have some supervised visitation for Amber with Earl there. And Earl, I think, could be enough of a doctor, enough of a supervisor, that if he hears Sally saying something derogatory, that it's stopped. And if he can't make that commitment... Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Judge. I would agree with Ms. Fine
Right now, temporarily.
that it's in Hayden's best interest to complete the school semester at Gibbons Elementary. That's 2 more months. He's finally in a public school. He should stay in a public school and finish it out. That structure, that stability, and he's socializing with other kids. I think that's a real good thing. The other thing that I would ask the court eliminate is Open Arms. Sterile environment, too restrictive, and it's just costing them more money. There is no reason why each parent can't have supervised visitation with their own families. So my client maybe is going to hate me for saying keep him in Givens for the structure for 2 more months, but I do think it's in Hayden's best interest. I also think Hayden's best interest is served by spending his supervised visitation with Dad and with Mom with their respective families. I agree with Ms. Fine that this court admonish each side not to say anything about sexual activity, sexual assaults, or anything unless criminal charges are filed, and they have not been. So I would ask that this court tell grandparents, uncles, aunts, everybody, moms, dads, set it aside, because all you're doing is destroying your own credibility.
How about Deborah Roberts for parenting coordinator? Get the psychological evaluation done, and then have Deborah Roberts. No, I'm just, because we talked about
We
it.
did talk about it in the hall, that, and I spoke to Dr. Puglini twice. His schedule is a nightmare. He's got some kind of a death row case or some, whatever it is, he's always got something going on. He admitted to me that my clients started calling him in December to get in. Their schedules have never coincided. She had an appointment. She had to change it. He's not been able to accommodate her. And if he can't, then I would ask that Dr. Lenkite do an eval. But I would ask that this court allow supervised visitation with each family. That a report still be required. And that the court admonish the parents. I would also agree to Deborah Roberts as a parenting coordinator. Thank you, Judge.
And the only reason we suggested that is because when the school year ends, will he stay in Givens? Will he?
We're going to need something, yeah.
We need a school for him to go to. He needs. We believe that we.
With joint legal custody, they've got to reach an agreement as to what school this child is going to attend, right? Okay.
Where are you zoned for?
I think I'd like to ask you what you like.
We'll do that with Deborah.
I think if you like the school, that
Here's the dilemma. I think we all agree that open arms is not the best place. The situation I was confronted with at the last hearing, where I removed Hayden from the custody of his mom, was an effort to try to ferret out the truth. That's what this process is about. Questions of whether or not Hayden was sexually abused by his father, or whether or not the mother has been contaminating Hayden's opinion about his father, are the two central issues in terms of a permanent custody order. And there had to be relief from both sides, being placed in a position where false accusations could be made, or any accusation could be made, whether it was true or not. So I couldn't very well place Hayden with his father, and I couldn't very well allow Hayden to remain with his mother, because all that led to would be arguments later in time that whatever the improper influence was continuing. So the idea of appointing Allison and Greg as the primary custodians and temporary guardians was to try to take the influence of the respective parents out of the equation in determining what the truth is. It does seem to me, from reviewing the reports from Open Arms, a neutral third-party observer, that the relationship between Hayden and his father has changed dramatically. From when we started this case, Hayden was absolutely refusing to have any contact with his father at all. And Allison's testimony today that he ran to his father at church is 180 degrees opposite to where we were 2 or 3 months ago. So there's progress being made in terms of reestablishing a relationship with his father. I am aware of the tremendous burden that's been placed on Allison and Greg, the burden that's previously been placed on Miss Johnson's extended family as well, Earl, the burden on you, in assisting us in trying to establish a normal childhood for Hayden, which is the goal. And I think ultimately the goal is, as both counsel indicated at the beginning of this hearing, some sort of joint custodial relationship so that Hayden can foster a meaningful relationship with both parents when the court is convinced that neither parent is going to cause harm to Hayden in doing that. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to sit and engage in the details, but I am willing to terminate open arms. I am willing to allow the father to have supervised visitation at Allison and Greg's house. I'm willing to allow the mother to have supervised visitation at her parents' house if Earl is present. And again, ma'am, I assume you're Sally?
I am.
Again, I want to remove the possibility of an allegation being made that someone is attempting to influence this child. Now, I understand there is a difference between maintaining an attitude of all-inclusiveness and simply not maintaining an attitude of exclusiveness. I think it may be asking too much for everybody involved in this case to say, Kamara, let's all get together and be happy.
Kumbaya? Kumbaya?
Huh?
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. It's been a while.
Your kids are older.
That may be asking too much, but it's not asking too much that there not be exclusive statements. Anne-Marie, I think this is the first time you've been brought to my attention. Ms. Fine, what is your client's attitude about Anne-Marie providing supervised visitation?
She lives in a cool thing. She lives in a very valuable apartment. Last I know. I mean,
Does she live near you?
boyfriend.
Yes.
She was part of
Can
it.
you be quiet? We have no problem with it being with the grandparents, and Anna Marie should be able to be involved. I mean, but not at her home. I mean, if Earl's going to go to her home and they want to have dinner at her home, that's not a problem. But it's not the same relationship as Sally, as Allison's family. I don't know what you're asking. Can she be the supervisor?
Yeah.
If Earl's not around, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. She's always been cool. That's what she said.
Now we just need a schedule.
Okay. When is his karate class?
I want to know when his karate and when his gymnastics
Your
is.
side.
Yeah, but keep asking. I ain't got it.
I want to eliminate some of the burden on Allison in terms of allowing more involvement of the Johnson family
It's so super.
to assist in getting Hayden to some of these activities and to enable her to spend more time with her own family.
Well, so on this side, we have counseling with Nick Ponzo, and I'm sure mom should be involved with that as well. We have, because I'm sure you'd like to see a report that says it's a changed child with mom, changed child with dad, if it is. But also, he has swimming now with you and school. What night is swimming? What day?
Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings. And what day is karate?
Karate is Saturday at 2 o'clock, and gymnastics is Thursday at 6 p.m.
So can we, on a temporary basis, forego gymnastics? If swimming's at what time to what time?
It ends at 10 to 10. Thursday nights will not be.
No. I'm not talking about Thursday. So swimming is 10 till what time?
9:40 to 10. I think he's done by
Okay.
10:20.
And then, so at 2 o'clock or by noon, can we make a switch?
Are we doing any overnights with each side or grandparents? No.
No, we've got an evidentiary hearing coming up in June. I mean, quite frankly, my preference would be, let's forget all that. Let's just go to
Shared custody?
Shared custody at this point. But I don't want to be back here in 4 or 5 months with the possibility of the dad having done something, or the mom, or Hayden saying that something's happened. I want to make sure that this is final at this point. So I think it's more important that we proceed with a little bit of caution, make sure that any issues that are out there have been appropriately addressed, rather than try to jump too fast.
Thank you.
But you want to do, but it's okay for him to spend a night at the grandparents' house.
My thought was that he would reside primarily with Allison and Greg.
And maybe alternate, how about, this is a
Alternate
suggestion.
visitation.
How about alternating weekends, because everybody goes to church, every weekend, how about Saturday at noon till Sunday at noon, and then in week 1, and then Saturday at noon until they take them to school on Monday morning? In week 2. Is that acceptable to you? Is that acceptable to you?
They got custody. They got custody of them right
And
now.
quite frankly,
No.
since Hayden's been primarily with the mom for the first 6 years, the religious issues should be mom's preference.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't,
Since Hayden's been with the mom for the first 6 years, I think, at least during this time frame, that religious experience should continue.
sure.
It-
But he's also gone to church with his father. I mean, his father's, they've always,
They go to different churches.
correct, so that's what I'm saying, alternating weekends, alternating Sundays.
They went to different churches.
My understanding, Chris
Since
doesn't go to
when?
church.
Yeah.
His
They do.
family does, but he doesn't.
Okay, so what I'm suggesting is in the interim, from week 1, noon on Saturday till noon on Sunday, and week 2, noon on Saturday until he takes them to school on Monday morning. So one weekend he can go to church with their family, and one weekend he can go to church with their family. But they also want to plan a little vacation, a trip out of town, and I mean, between now and June, is that a possibility?
How long are you going to be out of town?
We were going to take a weekend trip.
What?
We were going to take a weekend trip up to California,
A weekend trip?
Friday to Sunday night.
Or do you want to do an alternating weekend from Friday until Sunday, which would be fine? But then he would miss his swimming class every other weekend, which is okay.
I just assumed Hayden not accompany you to California, so during that weekend that he'd be with Johnson.
So please, let's not. What? Stop. It's a. Plus, Your Honor, they just changed churches from what Chris tells me, that they haven't been at the same church the whole 6 years.
You know what? I want to give Fred out a June with his
Okay.
least amount of distance.
So what would you like to do with respect to visitation? And Earl has to be there.
What time are the church services?
His choir's at 10:30 to 11, and services from 11 to 12.
10:30 in the morning to
on
11,
Sunday.
and then services 11 to 12. That's every Sunday.
Or he can do before, but
Yes, 10:30 to 12 every Sunday, Judge.
When did you go the last
it's... Or
time?
he can do
Talking and
before.
just shut up and just make this
We're going to start going.
Do like noon on
I don't know.
To
He's
2?
going to decide what he wants to do. I'm concerned with when do you see him doing it. That's what got me.
All right, this is what I'm going to do. Hayden will remain primarily with Allison and Greg. The Johnson family, excluding the defendant, will have visitation Fridays after school to Sundays in week 1, Saturdays at noon, Monday morning in week 2. During that time, that'll be...
Sorry, could you do that again?
Week 1 is Friday after school till Sunday at 2?
Following church.
Oh, okay, at noon.
And in week 2, it's Saturday at noon till Monday at school. That visitation will be either with Hayden's grandparents or with Anna Marie. During that visitation time period, the defendant is authorized to have contact with Hayden. But that contact needs to be supervised by a responsible family member. During the time that Hayden is with Allison and Greg, the plaintiff has supervised visitation as well. And that's not restricted. That's any time, Monday through any time that Hayden's there.
Could you get a confirmation from both sides that never mind.
What is it you're wanting?
Court's indulgence. But they go to church on Saturday night. That was the only reason why I was trying to make one, I was trying to change it, but they said it was fine. But since he's in the choir, my client would like to be able to go to see him when he's performing as well. And so would that family. So would they be
I think
invited?
that's fine.
That's fine.
You know, that's fine. That he can attend her church services and observe Hayden.
So can we have a mutual behavior order in place?
Yeah, good.
A mutual behavior order will be an order that says no one, which it's standard, and I think that it
No
applies to everybody.
disparaging, yes.
It applies to everybody, and it says third parties and
No
members of the
family.
family.
Yes.
Can't say anything bad
So
about
you
any.
wanna work out the language of
Absolutely.
Yep.
mutual behavior order?
I'll let Ellen do it.
I'll do it, yeah, no problem, and I'll make sure you're okay with it. The only thing I would ask, Judge, is that Dad has unlimited supervised visitation with his son, and Mom has limited on Friday after school till Sunday at noon, and then the other week, Saturday noon till drop-off Monday at school. I would just ask that she be allowed something midweek, you know, on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from after school till dinner time or something like that. Just to kind of balance it out. I mean, we're giving Dad.
First of all, I don't know, you're still working, right?
I'm sorry?
He works from 5 until
Yes,
5.
I can. My schedule is open. I can kind of come and go as I please.
So it's not like he's going to be there from
Okay.
the entire time period that
Sure.
Hayden's with his sister or his
Well, we do want the, right.
brother.
Brother and sister-in-law.
Yeah, you're not able to be there all the time. Say right.
Each parent has the right to telephone contact while the child is with the other family.
Did you do that unlimited call?
At least one call per day or per evening.
Sure.
I'm not going to micromanage this any further in
Good.
terms of
Thank you.
now that you.
What?
I'm sorry, Judge, was it part of your order that he stays at Gibbons
Yeah, he's
Through
going
the
to. He'll
semester?
remain in Gibbons.
until
Maybe
summer
the
break?
stability
Thank you.
he's got in his life is at school for the remainder of this school year.
Okay.
Can we also have a receiving parent picks up? So on Sunday,
Have a what?
receiving family picks
Okay
up.
with that.
So that if they pick up on Friday, they pick up, would it be from, at what time?
Be Friday after school.
So would they pick him up Friday
Get
from
him Friday
school?
after school.
Anna Marie, can you do that?
I can definitely pick him up, yeah.
You can be there, but Anna Marie has to be with you. And, because your dad's
And
working.
then Allison and Greg picked up
Sunday.
Hayden Sunday at noon.
Sunday and Saturday.
So
whatever.
receiving parent picks up, I've got that. I'm okay with
Okay?
that.
Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want me, do you want Ellen and I to work with Dr. Polini to make sure he gets this done?
If not, I want to go to someone else because this is ridiculous.
All right. If Dr. Polini says he cannot accommodate the June 6th hearing date, then I'll authorize you to go to. You don't have any objection to Line Kai?
I don't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Dr. Lunkite's fine.
Polini can't do it. Dr. Polini's already indicated that if his schedule doesn't accommodate our schedule, that he has no objection to another.
We've already given Dr. Polini $1,000. I don't know what she's given him. I just think that he's got to get it done, and I'm happy to call him from outside and see.
Push it.
Well, quite frankly, I've had Polini in other cases where there's been cross allegations between parents, and
You like
of the 4 or 5 experts I've had testify before me, I chose Polini.
Oh, okay.
I feel fairly comfortable with his work.
You owe me, babe.
Chris, up until the change of custody, what was your child support obligation?
I'm sorry?
What was your child
What was your
support
child
obligation?
support obligation?
Still is. What are you paying child support?
Oh, oh God, I think 650 something is how it worked out.
You went down there the other day. What did they tell you?
They just said they were going to
No,
stop
the
it.
amount. How much were you paying?
$286 a week.
It was like 656.
$286.62 twice a month.
But then there's extra paydays, so how you...
Savings, 86.62.
$286.62 twice per month.
But it was on 26 pay
26
periods.
times a year.
Right.
Amber, have you gone back to work, or are you still not working?
I didn't hear her answer.
Unemployed.
Is she getting unemployment?
Are you looking for work?
We just changed Hayden's situation, so I didn't know what to expect until the status check hearing, if he would be continuing the state program or not. They,
He's going to assess on to you.
The other Friday?
I didn't see an order that says.
Amber, have you provided any of Hayden's clothing or toys or anything to Allison?
I asked Open Arms if I would be able to, and they stated that unless they contacted me, I cannot bring them to the facility. My first
So
visit.
you'll be able to provide them with clothing and other incidentals for
Yeah.
his necessities. All right. Christopher, you indicated that this money has been going into a trust.
They said they were going to stop it. I still had to pay it, but they were going to stop dispersing it to Amber until they found out what was going on. They did contact our payroll department and said they were just going to continue with a partial payment to Amber due to the fact that there was some back child support.
There's arrears that are...
Yeah. They wouldn't accept the cash receipts that I had from Hayden's birth, everything I paid cash. They said that was considered a gift. So, but anyway, they were going to continue to pay the arrears.
So the $621 a month, does that include the payment towards arrears?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What's your gross monthly income?
5,000 a month.
5,000.
Yes, sir.
Judge Ives' gross monthly income on his financial disclosure form, $5,417.
So your child support amount has been capped.
Right.
Yeah.
$621. Are you sure that includes arrears?
It did on the paperwork they showed me.
I didn't see that it included arrears.
Well, we'll have to get an accounting from them. How's that, Judge?
That has nothing to do with what the judge is saying.
We'll get an accounting, do an audit from them, and then we'll bring that to the evidentiary hearing as well.
The cap, that income, the cap would have been $693.
But it was set so many years ago. They never adjusted every year.
All right, we'll need to do an order, and this needs to be forwarded to the DA's office so they can make appropriate disbursements. Amber, I'm going to impose on you the minimum $100 per month child support obligation to Greg and Allison. so long as they remain the primary physical custodian. Christopher, I'm going to set your obligation at $500 per month. So the DA's office will take the monies that have been accumulated and they will disperse that to your brother and sister-in-law. And I really don't want to get into this nightmare, so accounting and dealing with the DA's office. Amber, if you'll make direct payments by check or by cashier's check, the DA's office really can't open two separate child support cases at one shot. So you'll make direct payments or get a receipt from them when you make a payment if it's a cash payment. All right? So there's no issue. And that's effective
March 1st?
March forward.
May I just, and I'm not asking you to change your mind, I just want to make a record and just state that I want the court to keep in mind that that we object to it being so minimal, but I understand that we will have an opportunity at the evidentiary hearing to, without prejudice, I hope if it has to continue, that we will be able to address it.
Right. Well, these are temporary orders. They're subject to, I guess, modification back to March. I'm not going to go earlier than March.
Great.
We'll decide what child support obligations to whom are appropriate following the evidentiary hearing.
And we will see you in June?
June 6th.
Now, hold on just a second. All right, Nicholas Ponza, that's the only other issue, really. Nicholas had been involved at one point in terms of reunification. Was that through the juvenile court?
Yes.
You're saying you're shaking your head no.
It wasn't one of the 3 authorized counselors provided by the judge approved of.
It was, Judge, because that's the only way they could have gotten to him. I have the whole file here. It's probably in the car. And you have the reports, Your Honor.
Yeah, no, they're upstairs or in the system someplace. I'm going to authorize Nicholas Ponza to continue
Thank you, Your Honor.
with the therapy. Now, is Hayden still seeing someone on the sexual abuse?
He was supposed to
A little
see Kolodner, Melissa Kolodner.
And we object vehemently.
Prefers Javi Mendel, but they had issues with that.
I have issues with both of them.
Well, she's got issues with Ponzo. I mean, can't we compromise somewhere?
Melissa Kolodner and Javi Mendel had an opinion that he was guilty, and therefore wouldn't even work with him. And she took Hayden to Melissa Kolodner and to Javi Mendel when she took them to those two physicians, or those two counselors, without even going through the court system. While the court had already ordered that the child see Dr. Ponzo, or Mr. Ponzo. So it just can't, let's not overcomplicate this. He's seeing Nick Ponzo. Nick Ponzo has a good reputation. You saw the difference between how he was before and how he was the week he went to Allison and Gregory's. He's like a different child. He's like a child again. He's not like a child, an adult in child's clothing. He's a child. Encore.
How frequently is he seeing him?
You see him twice?
You've seen him twice Thursday nights.
Twice?
2 Thursdays.
On Thursday night, evening.
Oh, every Thursday?
Since I've taken him, he's gone twice on Thursday. He's gone twice.
Thursdays at 4.
So if Mom would like to participate, Mom should probably call Nick Ponzo and find out when he would like her to come on a Thursday. Maybe we could get to the bottom of it. In court, gotta go. It's my office. I mean, think they think that I'm not there because why? Because I'm playing around? No.
I'll be candid with you. Here's the problem I got. You know, on the one hand, I stated that the two issues at the evidentiary hearing was Hayden sexually abused, and to some degree, the therapist's evidence, testimony may be relevant to that issue. However, I don't know that continued therapy on that issue with these two individuals is necessary in order to allow the defendant to make her case. Someone talked about, you know, going forward, not looking in the rearview mirror, and quite frankly, I'm not at all certain at this point, particularly given the parameters we put in place. The continuing to have Hayden undergo sexual abuse counseling is going to enable him to start looking through the windshield rather than the rearview mirror going forward. Hanzo's mission is to engage in reunification therapy, correct? All right. I'm going to order that the counseling that Hayden's going through concerning the sexual abuse allegations be terminated, and that Dr. Ponzo continue with the reunification therapy, and that Amber, that you cooperate with Dr. Ponzo in achieving that. The sooner he can, because he's going to want to talk with both you and Chris, and he's going to want to try to work out whatever the details. Yeah, go ahead.
I have an open case against.
You what?
I have an open issue against him.
An open issue.
For
What does that mean, an open issue?
there was allegations he made in a police report and then to CPS, of which is documented that the exact opposite happened in an open public area recorded. So they're currently investigating that matter because he perjured himself. It's being reviewed.
You've initiated a complaint?
That was in October.
To the licensing authority?
Now the cops, when I spoke to her.
All right. Then I'm not going to order you to cooperate. I'm going to order that he continue to see Dr. Ponzo and Counsel, that the two of you can come up with some other individuals engaged in reunification therapy. You're free to do so and submit the name of that person to the court.
Anybody?
No. I don't know who. Who else is there?
I don't know either, but you know,
I have used Deborah Roberts for reunification as well as parenting coordinator.
He's fine right now. Let's just see how he's doing in a week.
Well, he's not really fine because Mom can't see him. So how fine is that? Not fine.
And I have
Well,
on tape
he's
yelling
going
at
to
me.
continue to see Nicholas Ponzo until such time as you can come up with a that's acceptable to your client.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
I think that Mr. Ponzo might want out of this, but I'll find out. After I didn't realize that it was ongoing. Let me find out if the complaint is a complaint. Let me find out where the complaint is, because if they've closed the case as unsubstantiated, then perhaps we don't have an issue.
Quite frankly, if Amber's
Filed something that I'm sure he's not going to be comfortable working with her.
There's an open case or not is pretty much irrelevant. For this to work, both parties have to willingly participate in it. Set aside any prejudice and focus on the future.
How about if we let Dr. Polini finish what he's doing, maybe allow Nick to Ponzo to see him maybe for 2 or 3 more weeks, and if he's fine, then he probably doesn't need to continue. Because he's just seeing Hayden right now. You weren't there, were you? So he's just counseling Hayden. He's not even seeing Nick, Chris.
Let's leave it at that.
But maybe for therapy, if you want to do therapy, I might be able to come up with someone else. Not reunification, just counseling, somebody for him to talk to that he trusts.
Okay.
And if you trust Nick, I don't have a problem with him staying there. That's the reason why I recommend
All
it.
the outstanding issues as of today put to bed. I haven't forgotten anything.
I'd ask if I'd be allowed to prepare the order and let Ms. Fine review it.
That's
Okay with
I'm going to say that's fine with me.
No pun intended.
All I want is it done. How long do you think it'll take to get done, my dear?
Less than a week.
Okay.
All right, then I'll see you all back June the 6th.
I can't wait. Kidding, being facetious.
And you'll let me know, obviously, as soon as possible to get Dr. Lanke appointed if Polini can't complete his examination.
We'll call
You're
him,
gonna call him.
we'll have a conference call tomorrow, how's that?
Okay.
Or even tonight if I can get it done.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to get 36 hours into a 24-hour day. If someone can figure it out, let me know.
I just can't get an answer from Polini. Every time I talk to him, it's like a shaggy dog story, so I'd love somebody else.
All right, we're in recess.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, I appreciate